Right, if you could talk me through your drawing, please.
Right, okay, so obviously I only had 5 minutes to do this drawing, so at first I not quite panicked but felt a little bit under pressure, so I thought just start drawing. So the first thing that came into my head was my table at home. I know that the house is not as tidy as I would like it to be, and also I'm having some work done on my bathroom at the moment, so I know that I've got to get this kind of moving and get this going. It's really interesting that my house has got these amazing views, and I really like the views, so I thought I'd just draw the view. But then obviously then the focus is this bit here now where we're at, and even up until this point I've been having conversations today about different events that I'm trying to kind of sort out and organise. One of them is writing a book with someone, but I'm waiting for a fax from him, but it hasn't arrived yet, so just putting that down has reminded me that I need to go and perhaps look at that now. This is just Sam and these drawings and this session now. Obviously there's a lecture tonight by Tom Bloxham, and I was thinking earlier on whether I should go and pick him up from the station or not. There's an interesting connection between that's to do with my past and the book might be to do with the future, but I think they're kind of perhaps related to each other. So it was about this point when I was doing the drawing I felt a bit under pressure and I started to freeze. So I thought what I should do is then just pick up a different pen and add some random other things, which didn't make any sense. But later on that red bottle might remind me of something, but I don't know what yet. And then obviously there's been discussions today about, there's been some email correspondence about the exhibition and whether it occurs in the Arts Tower or in Cruxmore, and as far as I'm aware it's going to occur in Cruxmore, but there seems to be this kind of cyclic conversation, and it's about the summer, so the summer seems very far away, but it's still there. And the other thing I thought was that I try to kind of disconnect this world from this world, but there's times when I might forget part of one world and remember part of another.
Sure.
So the act of you getting me to do this drawing reminded me of the fact that I had to get my bathroom done, but otherwise I would have just forgotten about that and just thought about it now.
What about the amphitheatre in the middle?
That's just to do with the lecture this evening. That's all that's speaking about.
Could you just say a little bit more maybe about the fact that you've done this drawing? Has it reminded you of anything to do, or made any connections between things that you didn't make
Yeah, it's
already?
probably made a really interesting connection between this relationship of time between something I might have been doing 15 years ago and what I might be doing next year, and the two are kind of related. So that's been useful. The other thing that's been interesting is that I've spent this afternoon sort of tidying my office, and I found quite a few articles that will actually be useful for something else which I've forgotten to put on the drawing, which is a talk I've got to do on social housing. So that's kind of connected. So I suppose what comes out of this for me is that actually doing one task might help me to move that task forward, but it might also help me to resolve another task, rather than there's an element of compartmentalisation, but there's also an element of saying, well, if I'm not really into that at this moment in time, I'll just forget about it and I'll do something else.
What about how much would you say, talking me through the drawing now, like you said there's something you forgot to put on the drawing, is the act of talking someone through your drawing adding another kind of layer to the
potentially? Yeah, I think there probably is, because looking at it again as an observer rather than the kind of creator, it means it's kind of helpful, and the fact that I'm having to speak to you and talk it through is kind of helpful. So and then I think the fact that there's some other colours here or some other pens just helps you to kind of make a different kind of mark. Like the red line is a kind of obvious one, but
that's from my point of view as kind of not knowing what was going through your head when you drew it. That's kind of a very obvious emphasis then is the divide, and then the thing that crosses the divide is is thinking about.
So I'm contradicting myself on one level, but I think that's fine. And I suppose the only other thing is that I suppose now that I've drawn this once, I could do another drawing that might be a bit more of a sophisticated version of this. And what I might do is I might exploit the space. I've deliberately, before I started the drawing, I've done it as a kind of axo because I know that this is high and tall in Walkley.
Yeah.
So I deliberately put this at this corner of the drawing because I knew that I potentially would say something about the university here. So that was a tactic I adopted deliberately to help me produce the drawing within the space that I had to work with. Because if I'd have drawn that here, I wouldn't have been able to make that relationship.
Sure.
So that is a tactic that I've used before.
Yeah, you were saying in the lecture the other day. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, if we can just get a closer shot of the drawing, just to kind of sum up.